That looks like fucking beer. Like, are you trying to get me to relapse to make yourself feel better about what
No, dude, it's not beer. I pissed in a glass, and I put it in the fridge.
Oh, well, that's probably okay.
Yeah.
That would probably get me more fucked up than beer.
Probably. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, man.
Taste is pretty mild.
I know, yeah. It's better than non-alcoholic bintang.
Yes, absolutely. I never know like exactly how many leaves to put in, but yes, shout out to you, Lynn. Thanks for the tea.
This is like Lintang. That's what we'll call it. Lintang. That's a great name, dude. How about that?
All right, so we have a lot to talk about.
I always have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. We've done so much.
Yeah, man, it does feel like that. Where did we leave off? Do you have any idea? We're about to brainstorm this right now.
The last thing we did, we had the podcast with Dan.
Okay. Which hasn't even been launched yet.
Yeah, that's we're working on getting that uploaded right now as we film this podcast. Mm-hmm. I think we spent a lot of time working last week.
We did.
And then we had our trip.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we had a few trips. So Aidan and I both at different points took individual trips back to Uluwatu. I went to Uluwatu, stayed on now I'm calling it Bintang, Binging Beach, which is a really beautiful beach that him and I visited a while ago. It's the beach, if you watch our other YouTube episode, it's the beach where we walk down these giant stairs and you got to climb back up. And it's funny because you read the reviews on Google and people are bitching about it. Make sure to bring plenty of water. It's really tough.
You got to walk downstairs.
Yeah, you have to do physical. It's not that bad. Like if you're just an average person, it's fine. So I did that for a couple days. I went on a date with.
Are you calling us average people?
Average meaning like not. What I was thinking was not morbidly obese. Like if you're a person that isn't American, then you should be able to do it. Like if you're American, there's probably like a 40% chance you'll be able to do it. But yeah, like a normal European, maybe I should have emphasized. Any European could do it.
Yeah, okay.
So that was really cool, and I went out there just kind of by myself for a couple days to unwind. I did go on a date with a girl who was nice. We had a great date. Decided it wasn't a good fit. She was cool, sweet, just not for me. So, and that's okay. There's beauty in that.
Absolutely.
Dinner was awesome, and I actually went out the next day, and I had a goal because Aidan inspired me last time. He went surfing. On Binging Beach, and those are really some pretty like intermediate to experienced waves. You get a lot of waves there, and what was difficult is Binging Beach is like very rocky, right? There's like that reef, and it cut him up a little bit. So I was too scared to do that last time, but I said I'm going to go back and do this somewhere at some point. So I went to Padang Beach and went surfing, and I got up my second try.
Yeah.
It was a smaller wave, but it was, man, I get it. I understand why people go surfing, and there's some beauty in there. You're out there, you're with a bunch of people, everyone's super chill, and you're just kind of waiting. You're waiting and watching for a good wave to catch, and you're going to get knocked around. It is kind of dangerous, but there's a lot of beauty in working with the earth to achieve something, and there's peace in that. So did that. I got some photos that you'll see on the next vlog, which we are should be up and running in 24 hours. So working on that today. And then afterwards met back up with this guy, and we took another adventure, I think 4 or 5 days later.
That's right, yes.
Shit, dude.
Oh, and so while I guess this wasn't while you were in Uluwatu, but after the last podcast, I went on a date to Atlas Beach Club and checked that out.
Oh, yeah.
So Atlas Beach Club is one of the most popular beach clubs in Bali. It's huge up in Canggu. Mm-hmm. So we went there, and it was like a beautiful day, really sunny, and we were sitting on one of our sofas drinking coconuts, smoking shisha, and then these clouds started rolling in, and then it started sprinkling a little bit, but we had an umbrella, and we were just kind of enjoying the rain, and then it just started raining harder and harder, and we were just sitting out there in it, and finally it got to the point where I'm like, how can it rain harder right now? So we took shelter, and then like a thunderstorm literally rolled right above the ocean there, simultaneous thunder and lightning. It was crazy. And then we were just soaked to the bone, so I was like, well, I may as well drive home in this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm driving my scooter through flooded streets. It's just pouring rain. I was trying to do it without GPS. I got lost.
At least you tried.
So then I got my phone out, and I found out that these phones, at least, are pretty waterproof.
Yeah, that's good to know.
My phone suffered no damage after getting pretty soaked.
Yeah, they're not car run over proof, though. Like, I can tell you that. If it falls off your scooter and a car runs over it, you're fucked. But apparently, during wet season, you're okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's slight danger. Would you say that it's more dangerous to drive a scooter in Bali when it's pouring rain, or more dangerous to drive drunk in the United States when it's a sunny day?
That's not the question I thought you were going to ask.
I know. I wasn't sure where I was going with it at first.
I don't know. I think it all depends. Because back in the day, I used to drive drunk all the time.
Yeah.
But I think if I tried to drive drunk now, it would be extremely dangerous. Because I have no alcohol tolerance anymore.
Yeah, and then also, like, the fact that you've only been driving here in Bali for a month.
I'd probably get on the left side of the road and just be like, oh, wait, I'm not in fucking Bali anymore.
You're right. There's going to be a flip there.
No, I think the rain isn't so bad because there's less people on the road. Here, when it's a nice sunny day out, the traffic is so fucking bad. Dude, it is extremely dangerous.
There's a window. Like, what I noticed is the best time to drive is when it's early in the morning and it looks like it's about to start raining. Because people are like, I'm not going to go on the road. It's going to start pouring rain. And then if you get lucky, you'll have like a 15 to 20 minute window of getting to your destination before the downpour starts with no one on the road.
Yes.
That's optimal, and then you can make it to the gym quickly.
And I think you get a little bit of danger when there's water on the road, obviously just slipping hazard, and you can't see as well, but having less people on the road is really nice.
Yeah, I've slipped a few times on the scooter. But hey, we're alive. It's officially also been yesterday or 2 days ago was 2 months of Bali Boys antics. 2 months of classic Bali Boys antics. It's weird because that's over 33% done with our Bali trip.
This trip is flying by, that's for sure.
And man. And it feels like, and I personally, like, I'm just getting started. Like, this whole thing.
We're locked in now.
We're locked in. The companies, the people we're meeting, the opportunities, the routines, the personal, physical, financial, all the development that's happening. It feels like it's just like a spark, like it just started. So there's a lot to look forward to. And like our journey and my journey in Bali is not done yet. Like,
oh, not at all.
We
truly are just getting started.
Yeah, 100%. So
and it's getting more and more exciting. Because the first month was exciting because everything was new. We were exploring, we were figuring out the lay of the land.
It was also intimidating. It'd be kind of fearful. Yeah. I'm like, ugh.
We weren't driving.
Yep.
We didn't really know like where we like to go and what we like to do. We didn't have as much of a routine.
Yep.
But like month 2, we got more locked in. We gained confidence driving, getting around, and what our weeks kind of look like.
Absolutely. The structure, and then like relationships, like the relationships we've developed with people as well. And the clubs, like the social groups, and kind of figuring out what we like and what we don't like. Like what we want to implement and we don't want to implement into those routines. And it's been neat. So we're just getting started. And so we do all these, like we got these trips, right? Aidan did his thing, I kind of did my thing. And then we reunited and decided to go check out Mount Batur in Kintamani. And this is really cool because this isn't just like a little mountain, like although it is like, I would say it's a pretty small mountain of how quickly we were able to ascend, but it's an active volcano. And we did this trip. It was kind of last minute. Like it was basically, I think we booked it like 2 days before we went.
Yeah, because we had kind of been talking about doing it and we were considering doing another trip. But then Finn, our German buddy from Run Club, he was heading back to Germany at the end of the weekend and he mentioned climbing it. And I was like, well, why don't we all go together? We'll rent a villa and we'll climb it Saturday morning. So we made it happen. The drive out there was fun because...
First long drive, especially for you, right?
It was 50 kilometers.
Yeah.
Took us about an hour and 45 to get out there.
It was fun.
And for a while it was cool because the two of us were riding next to each other. And we were just kind of talking
shit, like flipping each other off, just acting like assholes.
And then you took a different route.
Yeah.
And so then it was like the race was on. I was just like, I gotta beat Brandon there.
Mario Kart.
And the whole time I'm thinking like, oh, I'm behind him. And then there was probably like 20 minutes left in the journey, and then I just hear from behind me, No fucking way.
I thought I was ahead of him too. I was already like preparing my victory speech and everything, and then we closed in and we just finished out the ride together. And
it started raining like 3 minutes before we got there.
We made it during the window. I looked at him. I looked at the sky and said, "Dude, we're about to."
We were ripping through this tiny village, going 80 kilometers an hour.
So
like the
bad.
village people were mad at us.
I didn't know that was like the most American thing ever. I'm like laughing. I'm like, "This is really cool." There's like no speed limits, and then we get there, and he's like, "Dude, those people are pissed at us." I was like, "Is that who they were pointing and like yelling at?" I was like, "That was me. I was the problem." And he's like, "Yeah, I saw my first speed limit sign." I'm like, "Oh."
I must
man.
have missed that.
I was like, yeah, we totally missed that. So, sorry, the nice Balinese village people of Kintamani. We have, we were, what's the word? We insulted or what's a good word for that? We dishonored you.
We dishonored the locals.
Yeah, we dishonored the locals, unintentionally, of course. So,
but we rolled up to this villa, and it's one of those rare occasions where the place looks nicer than it did in the pictures.
yes.
Very impressive place.
It was absolutely beautiful. Check out the vlog for sure. We got there, infinity pool overlooking like a canyon and like mountains. It looked like something like an infinity pool in Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
like
they just dropped off to jungle.
Yeah.
No neighbors to the back. It was just like wide open spaces.
Oh, it was so nice. We were greeted by Yeoman there.
Yeoman.
Super helpful, man. Like we get there, he's like, okay, if you need to do this, this, and this. He's like, oh, do you want to go to the mountain tomorrow? So mind you, we're climbing this mountain active volcano to see the sun rise. So we have to start really early, and we had to leave at 3 o'clock in the morning. So we had a guide. He booked us a guide to do it. And Finn, who we invited there, he's like, yeah, I'll meet up with you guys. We got a 3-bedroom. And he told us, like we knew, he said, I have to work until 11 p.m. He was working from Canggu.
Yeah, he was working on German time.
Yeah, working on German time. And he made it out at around midnight.
Like 12:30, I think he got there.
Probably went to bed at 1 a.m. and then we were up at 2:30. So he got an hour and a half, 2 hours of sleep. And dude, the guy, like, I'm so glad that we met Finn. Immediately, we clicked, like, we were all boys. We laughed the entire time.
I haven't laughed that hard in a long
Dude,
time.
like,
it was a really fun hike.
It was really fun, man. He had a great attitude. There was no one complaining. It was nothing but laughter and good times.
We had a lovely guide named Katut. And so she's taking us up. She gave us headlamps and everything. So it's 4 in the morning, and we're walking through this little village to the mountain, and we pass some fields where hot chili peppers are growing, like really hot chili peppers. So, of course, Brandon goes right up to the bush, picks one off and eats one, and Katut's like, oh my god!
It's morning shock, dude. Morning macros is what I put in my
morning
story.
macros, yes.
And it was a pretty hot pepper. And as we were walking, like we were just getting started, walking on some pavement, and then like it starts to go up a little bit, and I start having some like stomach, and I'm like, man, that was not an intelligent move. And these guys are looking at me, and it's not that it's so much that it's like hot and I can't handle the spice. It's that like it's gonna disrupt my stomach. So now I'm thinking, holy shit, my heart rate's elevating because of the pepper. I'm climbing up here, and I actually started panicking in my head for like 60 seconds. It went away.
Oh, apricot just went on the roof.
Oh, did it really? Did
Yeah.
you catch that?
I hope so.
Dude.
Maybe
So,
she'll come visit.
The reason why I just got up like that was because I thought he saw a spider, which is a whole nother story.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that.
Bro, you just scared the fuck out of me. I'm already talking. My heart's like I'm already on
It was
edge.
just out of the corner of my eye. It's all orange.
It's a fucking spider. So yeah, the ascent was great. Sunrise couldn't have been more picture perfect, man. Like,
I think it was the best sunrise I've ever seen in my life.
and everyone up there, the tour guides and the people that are trying to sell you fucking Pepsi and chips and stuff are like, you're really lucky. Like, they're just like, this is the perfect day. Because you don't know. When you book something like that,
Yeah, you can though.
people are like, make sure to book it on a day where there's sun. I'm like, I don't believe that the forecast has been correct once. since
I
we've been
haven't
here.
checked the weather in over 2 months.
Dude,
because there's no point. Just go outside, and if it's raining, it's raining. If it's not, it's not. You can't predict that,
This is-
especially in a place like this.
It's something that Aidan and I wholeheartedly agree on. And I've got friends and family members who are like, oh, did you check the weather? I'm like, that to me is the most NPC thing you can do.
Yeah, check the weather.
It's like, did you check the news to find out what you're supposed to be afraid of? Like, it's like, it's just like dude, have you not realized that it is completely inaccurate all the time? Just go plan and just do it.
Yeah.
Plan and do it, and if there's sun, that's great. If there's not sun, that's great, because what was our takeaway from the trip? It simply is.
It simply is. There is no good. There is no bad. The only thing that makes good and bad is our judgment of the situation. Yes. So yes, it simply is.
Or like intention of us, things that we have control over, right? But are the circumstances that we can't control simply is.
Yes.
Right.
And I think then we made a joke sponsored by Xanax.
Sponsored by
because,
Xanax.
you know, you're just like, it simply is.
It simply is. You wake up, all your shit's missing. You stole a bunch of shit. It's like sometimes you win, sometimes you don't, dude.
You never know.
The Xanax lottery. It was a wild game. It was a wild game that we played. So we get up there, and there's this whole gimmick, right, where I didn't know because Finn told us about it. He's like,
yeah, Finn was really excited
eggs,
about this.
Eggs, and I'm like, yeah, like they said they're gonna have like eggs for us. He's like, oh, we're gonna cook them in the mountain. I'm like, I don't know about that. And sure as shit, it's so hot, and there's steam emitting from these crevices in this mountain that you cook eggs. Like they cook eggs for the tourists. So we got freshly cooked volcanic egg that we. Ooh, nice catch there, bud. Getting some wind. Maybe there's a storm coming.
Good old janky podcast setup.
Dude, it's the best, though. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Well, actually, I would. I'll trade it for a better podcast.
Yeah.
Eventually, but not now, because it simply is.
It simply is. We're doing the best we can with what we have. But yes, Katut scooped out like some dirt. She was like burning herself. Put 3 eggs in there and then covered it up with some leaves. And we let them be for like 20 minutes. Came back and had a tasty like medium boiled egg.
Yeah, it was really well. It was like perfectly cooked.
It was a really good egg.
Yeah.
And while we were peeling the egg, there were monkeys watching us trying to get our eggs. The monkeys, they just came out of nowhere.
They came out. We're over here. We're like I believe somebody said today can't get any better, and we're looking the sunrise and the mountains, and then these monkeys appear. And I'm like, it just got better.
It just got better.
This is the best. So there's some clips of the monkeys, and we were trying to judge the monkeys. Are these like Uluwatu monkeys? Because Uluwatu monkeys are dickheads. We said it before. We went to the Kitchuk dance, and we did the whole tour of the temple there. And they steal people's phones. They're little thieves. Yeah. They hiss at you. And these monkeys were better. But one did hiss at Aidan at some point.
Yeah, I did get in his face, though. I got down on my knees with my phone, and I was like, hey, buddy. And he was just like, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, you backed off.
But he didn't pursue. The Uluwatu monkeys, they'll, like, pursue you and bare their teeth.
Yeah, and these ones were better, so they're more friendly monkeys. And getting down was also funny because we ran. We
were the fastest ones up and down. Like the hike up, I'm like, hey, can we go faster? Because we're stuck behind a long line of tourists who are in not as good of shape as us. And I'm like, can we like pick up the pace? Because when
it was good though, wasn't she?
Oh, she was awesome. She was this tiny little Indonesian girl, and she does this almost every day. So she's in great shape. And we're trucking up the mountain. I like to climb mountains fast because when you're going up a steep grade like that, you want to stay lean forward so you're not falling backwards. So if you stay lean forward and moving, it's easier to climb. Yep. But these people just slowing us down.
There was a lot of laughter on the way up. We were all cracking up. I'm obviously being loud, my loud, obnoxious self, and I had a bit of a high from the pepper too. So I had this dopamine rush or whatnot. And we're just cracking jokes, laughing. Other people are laughing. There's some music playing. You heard Coldplay at some point.
Oh, yeah. Someone had a boombox, which I was like, I kind of like that, but I'm kind of annoyed by that. I didn't really know how to feel.
It simply is.
It simply is.
It simply is.
Well, yes, the descent was fun.
And just for reference, Aidan and I looked at our shoes. His shoes are worse than mine. We
don't have hiking boots out here, so we were just using our treadless running shoes.
Treadless, yeah.
Which on the way up was whatever, but the way down, we were jogging. And all these people are carefully hiking down, and we're like running around them.
Yeah, we were doing loops because then you want to go up and down so you don't
go all the way down. The path is kind of curved, so we were like using it like a half pipe to keep our
the momentum kind of.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the physics term for that.
Oh yeah, see that's his wheelhouse, dude. I just studied business.
I was doing the physics. I can't explain the physics.
Physicking.
I was physicking. But yeah, my knees hurt a little bit after that.
Yeah.
But people were like, what the fuck are these guys doing?
Yeah, so we did all of that. Katut did she was doing it with us. Like, I mean, she didn't really have a fucking choice because she's our guide, but she seemed like she was with it. And Aidan mentioned that his feet or his knees hurt a little bit after that, but also his eye hurt.
Oh yeah, so this whole time, the day before we left for Batur, I got something in my eye, which happens to me from time to time. So I was kind of figuring it would just go away. Like usually your tear ducts will wash it out. But this thing was really irritating me. I found on the hike when we were being active, it didn't irritate me as much. But when we got to the top, my eye was super red.
Look, it looked horrible. I thought we were making jokes, Finn and I, about him having pink eye. And
yeah, it looked like
ass.
pink eye.
Yeah, it was pretty disgusting, man.
And so after the hike, Neoman picked us up and took us to the hot springs that are right by Mount Batur. So we're hanging out in the hot springs, and then my eye starts getting really bad. Like, my vision starts getting blurry. I can barely see. Like, the sun in my eyes is, like, way too intense. So I had to get out of the hot spring, and I was just, like, laying in a lounge chair. And there's so many flies. There were just flies all over me, and I'm laying there. I can barely see.
I felt so bad for him. I'm like, I told Finn, I'm like, yo, dude, like, let's get going. I'm like, I'm gonna buy us some gelato because I feel like that can help Aidan feel a little bit better.
That was a godsend.
Yeah, dude. So I'm like, he's not feeling good right now. I'm like, he's not complaining at all because you're not a complainer, which is great. But
I was like, we agreed to go to the hot springs after the hike. I'm not gonna fucking ruin this.
I was like, dude, you let me know. And the irony is that they were healing hot springs, and like they got these magical healing properties, but he still needed to buy eye drops.
Oh no! But the other irony is that it was a piece of iron stuck in my eye, which I'll get to that later.
That's a play on words. Yeah, it's riddled with. Look at this.
We love that.
Riddled with literary devices.
Riddled with literary devices. We love alliteration. We love literary devices.
Wow, the irony. That was a great pun. So that's like more of a pun.
You're right.
So it's an ironic pun. That's so
an ironic pun, truly.
Wow, this is amazing, dude. Language is cool.
I went into a local apothec or pharmacy, and I told them, I'm like, yeah, my eye looks infected, and I showed it to them, and they gave me these steroid eye drops. Luckily, I can just put my camera on it with Google Translate and read the directions and what's in it.
Good enough.
I put those in, and those like helped with the irritation. Like I kind of came back to life a little bit. So the eye story will pick up later. So for now, I still had shit in my eye, a piece of iron stuck in my cornea, but I couldn't really feel it as much anymore, so I was happy.
Yeah, you, honestly, I just want to let you know, you handled that so well, because I feel that for anyone else who has iron, or a piece of iron stuck in their eye, they would have definitely, it would have been more obvious, to say the least, right? You handled it.
I was trying to be stoic about it.
Yeah, he was being very stoic and disciplined. Because there's a few things that come to mind when I think of physical discomfort. One of them being back pain. Back pain is like can be extremely debilitating and annoying, and having something stuck in your eye. And then like a really bad migraine or a headache.
Yeah, that's
so
horrible.
These are three things that I put as like top physical discomfort from my own perception to work through. And like having the eye, you were really pleasant to be around. So thank you for that.
Absolutely, man. I was. It was really fucking up my day, but I just try not to fuck up your guys' day too.
Yeah, we had a good start too, and I had suggested that Aidan's one of those peppers I ate, that he squeezed that in his other eye to make it even. Because then you just have a burning sensation in both eyes, and you're like, this is normal.
This is normal.
This is how eyes are supposed to feel. But yeah, handled that well. The healing springs didn't work, but we enjoyed them. And then after we went to the apothec, which is the pharmacy to get his steroid eye drops, we went to a coffee plantation. Unique experience. So everything we had paid for, and like the Airbnb and the service to the tour guide on the mountain, it was included. Like we would get driven around for food, just super helpful. They cooked us breakfast every day.
Yeah,
it was like white glove service, just hands down phenomenal. So left them a great rating. And part of that was to take this coffee tour on this plantation. But there's a caveat that the coffee plantation tour isn't just regular coffee. It's
called Uluwatu coffee.
Oh, nice! You got the name, Uluwatu coffee. Shout out to you guys. And
not the name of the plantation, but the actual like kind of coffee.
Oh, the kind of coffee. How do you know how to spell it?
Luwak. Uluwatu.
Okay, Uluwatu coffee. So the special Uluwatu coffee.
Tell them about the process of how they prepare this Uluwatu coffee.
So they have similar concepts with other animals, but they have these jungle cats which the scientific name is a paradoxus.
A paradoxus.
A paradoxus.
It's basically like an island mongoose.
It's an island mongoose, and they're weird looking creatures, but they digest these coffee beans and then they defecate. They shit them out, and then they take it, they clean off the crap, and they take it through a process, and then they open it, and what's opened in that shell is what is the coffee is brewed with. But originally, I didn't know that. I thought it was a little bit grosser. Like
I thought so too.
Like they shit it out and then they put it in coffee right away, and I was really disgusted.
But the beans are protected
Yes.
while they're in the stomach, but because of the exposure to the acid and possibly something else going on in the digestive
enzymes
tract,
and all sorts of shit.
it goes through a special fermentation, which like really supercharges the flavor of the coffee. So it's a very intense dark coffee, and they serve this coffee with milk, and they call it a cappuccino.
Cappuccino.
Pretty adorable.
Yeah, it was. We took a picture by the sign, and we got some videos that are on the vlog of these jungle cats is what we'll call them, and that was neat. It was really cool because the gentleman there he showed us the process. Here's the beans. Here's the animals, and then he gave us like a flight, almost like we were at a fucking
It was
brewery.
like a flight
Yeah.
of like 10 different coffees
Yeah.
and 10 different teas,
Yeah.
all like locally made there.
One avocado, one with coconut, and then I bought a bunch of shit. It was really expensive. These guys are kind of laughing at me, like, "Why'd you spend so much money?" I'm like, "Cause I'm gonna drink it."
It
And
is
I've been
really
drinking
good
it.
coffee.
It's
that
solid.
coconut coffee hit.
Yeah, the coconut's the best, and now I mix the coconut coffee sometimes in my protein powder.
Nice.
And it's like a coconut it's the best. It's so fucking delicious. So that was an awesome experience. And then afterwards, we get back to the villa, and mind you, we were up at like 2:30 in the morning, and Yoman's like, "Hey, what do you?" I'm like, "Dude, we're good. We don't need to do anything else." Aiden and I were both good on chilling. Finn was chilling, and just enjoyed some leisure time by the pool, laughed a little bit, and then Finn, didn't he head out that day?
Yeah, Finn headed out that
Yeah.
evening to get back to his
Yeah.
villa so we could check out and head back to Germany.
Yeah, head back to Deutschland. Man.
So yeah, we had a nice little local Warung meal together
Yeah.
before he headed out. And
Yeah.
then I think you and I pretty much went to bed. Right?
Well,
Oh. Oh yeah. Okay, that's what
yeah,
happened.
there was a situation.
We wanted to find ice cream.
Yes.
And apparently, if you ask anybody around there, where can we get gelato? Oh, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And they're all just lying.
There's
We're like,
some lies.
We know that you can get gelato.
Oh, actually, all right, so then one more thing before we get into the situation. There was one thing we requested from Yoman. We asked another question, not where is gelato, but we also asked where can we get a massage? And he's like, so we text Finn after he was on his way. Yoman was driving Finn.
That's right.
Yeah, he was driving him back to Canggu, right? And I text Finn, I said, "Hey, can you ask Yoman where Aidan and I can get a massage?" And he's like, and we didn't know what was true, what wasn't true, but he texted us back, he's like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna send his wife and her friend to give you guys massages."
They'll be there in 30 minutes.
He's like, "They'll be there in 30 minutes." I'm like, I didn't even get to negotiate. This is kind of bullshit. Like, I'm trying to vet it out, what's pricing. He's like, "They be there in 30 minutes. And I'm like, "Well, how much?" It's like 250,000 rupiah, which is on the expensive side.
But in-home visit.
In-home visit, and
we got massaged in our own beds.
they're already on their way. So it's like, well, I guess we just have to fucking pay it then. But we got massages in our own respective beds, and that was pretty cool.
It was a really nice
They
experience.
brought all this shit, and just like, bro, we don't have to do anything.
Right
here.
after climbing a mountain, it was just like
Yeah.
so relaxing.
So then we did that, and then him and I decided that we wanted gelato. We ordered food in that day. I'm pretty sure we ordered it. from Grab, and,
Yeah.
we found something that was a little far out of the way, but it did get delivered. And then Aidan and I, before we leave, I closed the door. I'm closing the door of our villa in our front yard, and dude, what I saw terrified me. It was the largest spider that I physically witnessed right next to me in the wild. And I'm like, I jumped back. I'm like, what the? And Aiden immediately looked at me and said, "It's a spider."
I knew what it was because so the night before there had been a medium-sized spider in my room. Nothing crazy, but I had Brandon help me take the mirror off the wall so I could get to it. It ended up escaping and hiding under my bed, so I was like, "All right, you win this round, spider.
Yeah,
you
let
can
him
stay
live."
under there." I just slept with my bug net up.
Bug nets are awesome.
But after that happened, I went downstairs because my water bottle was still outside in my scooter. So I was paranoid. I had spider thoughts on my mind. So I'm walking out the front door, and as I open the front gate, I swear I see a huge spider crawl up onto the gate. I'm like, it's kind of dark, so I'm like, I'm probably seeing shit. I'm just paranoid. So I grab my water, go back inside. And then when I saw his reaction walking out of the gate, I'm like, that thing I saw last night was there.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
okay.
And then, I'm looking at it. It's definitely in the top 3 biggest spiders I've ever seen in my life. It was horrifying.
And because you saw one in Costa Rica, Guatemala.
In Guatemala, that was big. But I've seen one in Florida that back when I was there with my family years ago. This fucker was huge on the wall. That was the biggest one.
Yeah, it was scary enough to be like, him and I were like, well, I guess we're fucked. I guess we just sleep outside or somewhere else because we can't get back into this spot.
Yeah.
So we went for gelato. I said, dude, we got to figure out another way to get inside. And we came back. He was in the same spot, which, was kind of nice. It was thoughtful
we
of him.
at least knew where he was.
Yeah, and I don't like killing animals.
Especially if they're outside.
Like, I'm like, dude,
listen.
listen.
His territory.
Like, I would love to I don't like spiders. I don't appreciate them. It's funny. It's like I was thinking like a racist. Listen, it's not that I don't like them. I just think they should just be over there and I'm over here. That's how I feel about spiders. Listen, it's not, I don't hate them.
You're a spiderist,
I'm
man.
a spiderist. It's like, I just think we should live separately. And that's how I feel about spiders. So we tried to get him out into the jungle away from the house. It didn't work. He
crawled under the gate, but I kind of prodded him with a stick, like, get the fuck out of here so we can get inside.
So I kicked the door down, and I'm like, we just gotta fucking run for it, dude, and like lock all the shit. And it was fine.
So we go inside, and I'm taking a shower, and so the way that the bathroom in my room was set up was it was like half inside, half outside. So the shower like had a roof covering half of it, and then it was open the other half.
That's why you were getting so many spiders, bro.
So I was just like washing myself, and then I started thinking, I'm like, oh man, what if there's like a spider in here? So I start like scanning, and then the last place I look is down on the wall, and there's a spider about the same size. He's maybe a little smaller than that one outside, but I was just like, no fucking way. I'm like, Brandon, there's a fucking spider in here.
I was like, there's nothing I can do to help.
And he's like, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to see it.
I locked my door and said goodnight.
I ran downstairs and got my shoe, and I just went to hit him, and he's fast as fuck. He's running across the wall, and I finally got him. But I was like, Jesus.
So there was actually 3 spider situations. A
lot of spider situations. So the jungle of Bali is nice because you get up in the mountains, and it's a lot cooler. Like, it was mid-60s, like, really nice, cool weather, but there's fucking spiders everywhere. So you win some, you lose some.
And the gelato wasn't that great. I mean, you're getting gelato, pre-packaged ice cream out of it. But you know what? When in the jungle, do as the jungle folks do.
Yes.
Drink cappuccinos instead.
And I think there was another highlight that happened at the villa that we didn't go over. We went over the spider situations. Or maybe we did cover everything.
I feel like, we did a good walkthrough on all that. The next day, so we wake up early again, just to kind of like paint a picture.
Yeoman's wife shows up and cooks us breakfast.
Oh yeah, that was great. She showed up. Him and I. So this is happening at a time when we were a little bit paranoid, and Aidan thought the door was open that he had already locked, and there was like a little bit of there was an ominous feeling. We got spiders. It's just quiet. We're in a jungle, and we get a knock at the door, and it's Wyan, and she's like, "Oh, what time do you need breakfast?" And I was like, "Hey, we get up early," so she came by at 6 a.m.
Yeah,
which is cool because him and I were like, "Yeah, we want to get out of here." I got up early, woke up at 3 again because I was programmed for the night before. I woke up at 3. I talked to my dad for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and we were out the door by 6 a.m. And then Aidan does another trip. He does a trip to Uluwatu, and I went and met a friend at church and went to a church service and then eventually came back. So it's been go for him, at least from a consistent period. I went to Uluwatu as well, but there was some space in between that trip.
Yeah, I literally got home, unpacked my shit, packed a new bag, and then my friend Dion and I went down to Uluwatu. And that was my first time driving a scooter with someone on the back.
Yes.
Besides when I took you to get your scooter, but that was a short ride.
That was a short ride. That was scary though.
Driving through the Denpasar traffic, I was like, okay.
Yep. And I drove Xaviera on the back of my scooter, and she's so small. She's super tiny, so it felt like there was just nothing there.
At first you get used to it, and then you're like they're so light that it doesn't really change too much.
It's good practice.
Just a little bit of a center of mass alteration.
Yes, little physics. See, this guy understands physics.
It's all physics.
So he had a whole nother trip in Uluwatu, enjoyed a couple new beaches. I went to a nice church service, and I'll continue doing that on Sundays and building kind of the spiritual part. And then it was like back to work. Today, Aidan and I have just been doing a lot of Bali Boy stuff, man. Went to the gym. I had like a work meeting, still handled that, and now him and I are getting this podcast up with our boy Danny, and we're gonna get the vlog. We got all the vlog stuff together for Brandon to go through and get that up. And now we got this podcast, which maybe we'll hold off, but we got it. We got it done. We're doing the damn Bali Boys thing, man.
Yes, we're juggling all of this stuff, but
while working,
it's a lot of fun.
It is, dude.
We're so grateful to all of you who have been following our podcast. Shout out to you, Mary Lou.
Mary Lou! How can we forget
Mary
Lou?
We enjoyed your cookies on the flight over to Bali, so thank you for those. They were delicious.
We call that in Indonesian, enak sakali.
Enak sekali. Very delicious.
Terima kasih banyak. Thank you very much.
Did we have any more shout outs we were gonna do?
I want to shout out Finn again.
Shout out to Travel In for the awesome green tea.
Travel In, absolutely. What did we call this before? Lin, I had a name for it. I had a funny name I called it in the beginning of the podcast.
Oh, Lin Tang.
Lin Tang. Lin Tang Market. Thank you, Lin. Shout out to Finn.
Shout out to Lynn, shout out to Finn, dude. Shout out to Deanna.
Yep, there we go. And Xaviera for the church, showing me, bringing me to the church service. That was cool.
We got some really cool friends here in Bali, and I'm really grateful. Like literally, people from all over the world. It's amazing.
Wayand to Nyoman, to the people at the villa. Sorry,
we found a. Nyoman had some sick tattoos, so now we have an idea of who we want to go to when we get tatted.
That'll be a great,
at least for
vlog.
me.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. I'm getting covered. Just earning that 6-pack and that 10% body fat. I just got weighed in too. I went and got a body scan done that gives all, like, Aidan was looking at the sheet. He's like, dude, I don't even know what a lot of this shit says. It was super detailed, and I'm at 15% body fat right now. And the goal for me is what ChatGPT says is they say under 12 you should be getting a 6-pack, like under 12. Mm-hmm. But I really, that's the first benchmark. The second one is to get sub 10. Maybe I don't stay there the whole time, but to just do it, to push it. But got some work there, and then once the body is built to how I decided to build it, then it's time to get tatted the fuck up.
Hell yeah, brother.
So.
Oh, and the last thing that happened, you got your body scan. And so back to the iron that was stuck in my eye. Finally, I had accepted the fact that thing was not going anywhere. So I did a little research. I went to an eye doctor clinic that's like 10 minutes from our place in Denpasar. Went in, filled out a form with all my information, said I was going to pay out of pocket. They gave me an eye exam. They tested my eye pressure. Went and saw the doctor. I told her what happened. And she put my face in a machine where she was looking real close at my eye, took some pictures, and she's like, so it appears that you have a piece of iron stuck in your eye.
And that's when you found out that it was iron, right?
Yes, that's when I found out. I knew there was a black dot I could see on the edge of my cornea.
Black mysterious dot. The whole time we don't know what's wrong with his eyes. So they gave him that verification.
Yeah, and so she's like, all right, so we can do the extraction. I'm like, great, that's what I came here for. No bullshit, just get it out. So she holds up this needle. She's like, so I'll scrape it out of your eye with this. And I was just like, all right, be a fucking man, Aidan. And so she put an anesthetic eye drop in my eye, set my chin on the machine and stared forward. I'm like, don't blink, sit still. And she took the needle and it took her she took out a few chunks of the irons, like a big chunk and a few small chunks. I didn't really feel it that much, so the anesthetic must have worked, or you don't have nerves there in your eye. I'm not really quite sure, but finally she's like, okay, finished, and she showed me the shit that she pulled out of my eye, and so now there's a little divot on my cornea, and she's like, thankfully it wasn't close to your pupil, so your vision is going to be fine.
Amazing. Gave
me some antibiotic eye drops that I gotta use every few hours for a couple weeks, but she's like, yeah, you should heal just fine. Come back if you have any issues. I paid for that whole experience. I was in and out within an hour. and I paid just over $1 million rupiah. It came out to like $63.
So solid.
So I'm like,
solid.
oh, great. Medical care is affordable here
Oh,
without
you're going to get
insurance?
reimbursed for all of it, right?
Oh, yeah, and then I can
Oh,
apply for reimbursement from our travel insurance.
Yeah, it's just with booking a plane ticket, that's included, so. Cool. Good
So,
deal.
yeah.
That's a good deal. But there was one thing. What did they tell you about the eye drops you bought at the Apothec?
Oh, yeah, so I showed them the eye drops that I had been using, and they're like, oh, stop using those. Because apparently the steroid in there was actually going to prevent my eye from healing. So while they did come in handy to
Yes.
prevent irritation in the moment, it was going to be harmful long term.
Yeah.
So and it had actually increased the pressure in my eye because they'd asked like, "Do you have a family history of glaucoma?" Because the pressure in my right eye was a little high. I'm like, "No," and then they saw the eye drops. They're like, "Oh, there's a steroid in here. That's probably what's doing it."
I see. I see.
I see.
I see. Damn, we crushed it with the puns today, dude. And the
We
rhyming
did.
patterns.
We did. Fucking high five
Yeah,
on
dude,
that.
let's go. So yeah, that's it. I mean, that was a real concise breakdown of everything.
Yeah, we had a busy couple weeks. It
We
was
did.
a lot of fun.
Now it's back to work.
Now it's back to work.
Back to work, man. We got work to do, but we're enjoying the process, and that's what's most important.
Yes, indeed. It just is.
It just simply is. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in.
See you next time.